Hello, Blockheads. This is Bob Anglin for Bloqspace. I had the great honor of speaking at the Blockvibe Atlanta Lisk Meetup, where there was food, banners, balloons, flyers, a TV giveaway, and a Lisk cake. Thank you to all who came out, but for those who were unable to attend, here is my speech from that day. Please watch and feel free to comment, ask questions, and hit that like button. Here it is. So I'm not going to use a microphone because I like to use my hands a lot. And if I was theater trained, so if I can't speak to a room this size, then that was a lot of wasted money. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to just say thank you. Thank you for having us over, Chris. And we really, this is what we're all about. We're really about education of people in blockchain technology. So I'll be straight with you. I am not like some kind of technological super genius, not at all. I got a B+ in computer science, where I learned how to use BASIC to make Celsius turn to Fahrenheit. That's pretty much how well it is. Now, and my first real introduction to technology is when I was getting my master's degree, which is actually in speech. I was the information desk at Northwestern University, where I taught new kids how to use the internet, which was a brand new thing back in 1996. So I showed people how to use Netscape, that was my job. My job here is to take the idea of blockchain and make it as simple as possible. So how many people here consider themselves super experts on the blockchain? How many kind of know how it works? Okay, how many people have no idea what this stuff is? Okay, I've been there, okay? And I'm definitely not at that first level, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to understand it in as simple terms as possible. If you're somebody who really knows a lot about it, it's going to help you explain it to other people in the simplest possible way. So I worked on this, and then last night it all changed when I had dinner with my wife. And we're talking about, she's like, "How are you excited about the trip and all this stuff?" I'm like, yeah. And we started talking about blockchain technology and stuff like that, which I talk to her about all the time, which I'm sure she just glazes over when I talk about it. But at the end of our conversation, she made the most wonderful thing that opened my eyes to something that will help this whole presentation. And she said, "What does a Bitcoin look like?" Exactly. Because that's why most people have trouble with blockchain technology. What does a Bitcoin look like? Well, I'm a little bit of a smart aleck, so I say it looks like a bunch of ones and zeros. And then I realized that was not an acceptable answer. She was like, "What?" And I go, "You got paid today, right?" And she said, "Yes." I go, "Show me the money." And she's like, I go, "You know you got paid because a bunch of digits appeared in your bank account. At no point did someone hand you some money that you then took to the bank and they put in your basket and wrote down how much stuff is in your basket." Right? And I was talking to one of my students not too long ago, and she was like, "I thought that's how the bank worked. The money comes and they put your money in a basket and it's got your name on it. And whenever you need your money, they get it out of your basket." So there are people that's how they think about money, but money has been digital for a long time. And when you start talking about what cryptocurrencies are, what the blockchain is just, what is it really? It's just a ledger. It's a digital ledger that says that somebody has something of value, and whenever the difference between it and everything else is that they take that thing of value and they then share it with a bunch of other people that keep track of making sure that value is the same for everybody. Okay? And we'll get into that a little bit more. But in the case of a bank, what happens is her boss is one of these people, and they tell the bank, take this much out of off of my ledger and put it on this person's ledger. And then she can look on her phone and see that her ledger changed. It went up. That's how most money is. Most money is digital. Most money has no piece of paper that goes with it. It's just digital. The difference between a bank is this is centralized, right? So when everything has to go here before it can go anywhere else. And that's how most banking works, okay? In fact, almost all banking works that way. The problem with this is if I want to rob a bank, I don't need to walk in there with a mask because I'm not going to get nearly as much money as if I can get on my computer and I just have to break into one computer. And not only can I rob that bank and take lots of money out of it, but that belongs to all these people. It's not the bank's money. I'm going to take all these people's money. But I'm going to take their social security number when I take it, where they live, how many kids they got. I mean, everything that the bank asks you for you to start an account, now I know that all about you. Okay? This is what we call a data cow. If I'm a hacker, all I got to do is get the barn door open. And I'm going to milk it for as much as I can until somebody figures out that the barn door is open, and then I'm gone. So how does that work in real life? So a few years ago, I think it was like 2015 about, I went to the store and I bought my groceries, which I almost never carry cash because I'm a cheapskate dad. And when my kids say, do you have any money for us? I say no. It's all on my card, right? So I always say I have no money. And as long as they don't see the cash, then they think it's true. So we're at the store and I have a cart full of groceries and I'm buying the stuff and I go for my card and guess what? My card is declined. There's nothing on, and it doesn't say it's declined because I don't have enough money. It says the card's just no good. Your card's just no good. So I got a shopping cart for groceries. I know I got a couple $1,000s in the bank. How can my card be no good? So the nice people at H-E-B, they put my stuff aside. They put my stuff that needs to go in the refrigerator in a refrigerator, and I go to get some cash. I go to the ATM. It's no good. I have to go to the bank. I go down to the bank, and they say, oh, there was some kind of security problem. So your card was we just deactivated your card. You'll get another one in a few days. I'm like, thanks for telling me. I'm standing in line at the grocery store. Okay? So they gave me some cash. I took it back to the grocery store. So it took a few years to realize that my bank, Wells Fargo, had a whole lot of people's stuff go bad. And instead of telling people that, oh, somebody broke into the barn and milked the cow as long as they could, they just said, oh, there was maybe an issue and we just were trying to protect you. Right? So now everybody knows what's going on with Wells Fargo, and it's not the only time that something bad happened there, right? But there's an example of why we would need something like blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is decentralized. So what that means is instead of me having this one place, whenever the ledger changes, it is sent to a bunch of other people. Okay? And those people keep track of the fact that it stays, what they got is the same as what everybody else got. Okay? The blockchain has these three main parts. It's a database, and it's not just about money. Of course, in the case of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, that's what it's all about. It's about transferring money from one place to another. It's its only purpose. I buy a Bitcoin, I give it to you, and you're in wherever you're at, right? You can be anywhere in the world. And you can go to somebody and sell the Bitcoin and get whatever the currency is there. That's the purpose of Bitcoin. So it can be anything. It can be contracts. It can be anything that goes through this ledger. Even though everything in those ledgers is visible to everyone, because it needs to be so that everybody can keep track and make sure nobody's cheating, it's totally anonymous. So nobody knows who you are, even though you're on it, okay? And it's using not just big computers, it can use all kinds of little devices. Any kind of computer device can be part of a blockchain. Your refrigerator can be part of a blockchain at this point. Printers, things like that, okay? And the reason you can trust it is because it is put together with a technology of encryption that makes it so that it cannot be changed. So if somebody messes with one of these blocks of information, the little key that says that it is who it is, its identification, changes automatically. And then everybody else in the blockchain says, whoa, 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 someone's cheating, and cuts that one off. So instead of it being one, if a hacker did want to sit there and hack, they always have, there's been hacks lately on blockchain things, but they're always where? At the servers, at the places where it's centralized. So as soon as this person tries to cheat over here, I can then, everybody else says, nope, you're a cheater, and you're cut off. We still have knowledge of what's there, right? Nobody can bounce a check on the blockchain because you can't spend money twice on the blockchain. Because everybody else says, you already spent that money, you can't spend it again. You can't sit there and say, I didn't make that contract with you, or you didn't pay me, because everybody saw that they paid them, right? They like to use the word trustless. What it just means is I don't have to trust this person anymore. I can trust the blockchain to keep that person in line. Okay? So when it comes to what's a cryptocurrency, back to my wife's thing, what does a Bitcoin look like? I thought that I was brilliant, and I explained it fantastically, right? So she, while I was putting all this stuff together last night, I hear her talking to her sister on the phone, who asks a question, probably the same question. What is that? What is a Bitcoin? What is that stuff? So I realized, me being a teacher, I can't let this slide, right? So I realized this one thing. What is cryptocurrency? It works just like this. I'm out of moves. If I want to spin coin, I can keep playing, right? But I only have 15. So in order for me to get more of these coins that belong to this game, I have to buy some more coins. And then I have to use those coins to keep playing the game. And that's exactly what cryptocurrency is. Every blockchain has a cryptocurrency, which is just like tokens at Chuck E. Cheese. And if I'm not playing, if I don't have the tokens to play, I can't play, right? So this is basically, it's not a blockchain, but it's basically a cryptocurrency that they've created for this game. I have to buy more coins to keep playing the game. Now she starts going, it's just like any other time. There's lots of places where this happens, right? Including Chuck E. Cheese. I go to Chuck E. Cheese. I can't just walk in there. They won't even allow me to sit there and put quarters in. I have to put a quarter in another machine and get their token out. The difference with cryptocurrency is because of exchanges, say I have a lot of these coins that I've earned on this game. Now I can take it over here. I can put it on another game. I can buy some of another game's coins, and I can play their game now. And, of course, now we can go on and on and on, and because they're of value, somebody might buy them from me for cash. So that's my super simple, what is cryptocurrency, what's the blockchain? It's no difference than if we all had the same checkbook, and whenever one of us wrote something in it, it changed for all of us, and we could all keep track of it. So how big a deal is this thing, this blockchain thing? How many people think it's a huge big deal? How many people think it's kind of just one of those things that people are using right now? I'll tell you a story, another little story, right? So I'm 27. I was at Northwestern. I go home to visit my uncle in Ohio on his farm, and he says, hypothetically, if I gave you $50,000, what would you invest in? So my uncle invested in lots of stuff. He worked at General Electric as a factory worker his whole life, but he retired a multimillionaire because he knew how to invest money. And he said, what would you invest in? I said, well, I'd invest in Disney because I believe in investing in stuff you understand, right, and you know about. And I said, and there's this tech company I would invest. I'd probably do half of it in Disney, half in this tech company. He's like, no. Those tech companies are going to blow up. They're not going to work, right? So Disney, started taking over the world. So that would have been a good investment, my $25,000 there. And the other $25,000 would have went into this little place where we were buying our textbooks from, which is called Amazon. Okay, which was $18 a share at the time, and is now at $25,000. Not even counting all the splits and stuff, it would be like $2.5 million now. Okay, by me not doing anything for the rest of my life, I would have a lot of money right now. But he thought, no, that's not the safe thing. He always did blue chips and stuff like that, which worked for him, right? But this is exactly what's going on with blockchain right now. Is people are saying, it's just somebody, it's a lot of get-rich-quick schemes, and there are people that are absolutely into get-rich-quick schemes. They're using the blockchain to do that. But the blockchain, imagine when was the last time you didn't use the internet? How long have you gone since you used the internet? right? The internet was this is how people thought about what people think about the blockchain now. That's how people thought about the internet 20 years ago. They thought exactly the thing. So how big a deal is it? So this is in Forbes. Dubai is planning on completely running its government on the blockchain, on blockchain technology. Their goal is 2020, every single thing. If you want to buy a piece of property, it's blockchain based. Everything, electricity, gas, everything. You run their entire government. So right now, China owns over half of the Bitcoin and Ethereum in the world because they're buying it, right? They're also mining most of it. Greece, because they're having so much problems with their court systems being just completely corrupt, they're going to start using blockchain to take it for their arbitration, to basically be their courts, because you can't cheat the blockchain. Okay? Liechtenstein, I just threw this on. These are some of our tweets. So Liechtenstein now has their post offices so that they'll sell Bitcoin at their post office. And these are ones, this is a discussion I was having with my friend Ace back there just about this week, right? Facebook, they're building a stable coin, blockchain build out. So as they're building this, what he's actually doing is they're going into some blockchain companies that are trying to build blockchains. They got a lot of really talented people, but maybe they're running out of funds, and he's buying their staff. He's buying all their developers and basically putting them out of it. This is what I was talking about the most, is that what's going to happen is if the small entrepreneurs don't get together, start building, start getting stuff done, these big tech companies, they're already going to, I promise you, IBM is already creating a blockchain platform. It's a plug-and-play platform. If you want to create your own blockchain, you use their stuff. Microsoft hasn't mentioned it, but we know what Microsoft does. As soon as somebody else has a good idea, they're going to jump on it, and they're going to have their own, hey, this is cheap, right? So what does that bring us to? That brings us to the one that we're all in for, and that's Lisk. So Lisk is a blockchain platform. Its purpose enables anyone to easily create and deploy their own sidechains, as well as custom blockchain applications. Okay, and they use JavaScript. Do you know why they use JavaScript? It's cheap, right? It's the most common coding language, so it's easier to find people that can do it. Now, the sidechain idea is it's actually taking off. There's a lot of other people trying to use sidechains and stuff like that. So the sidechain is basically, I have a main blockchain, and then I use this 2-peg system in order to create. So if I have my main blockchain like that, say I got my little smart contract in here, and everything's going good, but what happens along this way is if I have a problem along the way, it starts creating congestion. So Ethereum did this, right? Ethereum started allowing people to piggyback on their blockchain to create things, and they use smart contracts to do that. Most blockchain companies use Ethereum to do their startups, to get their self going. But what happens is there was this wonderful game called CryptoKitty, and people made their picture of a cat that looked like a deer, or was dressed up for Christmas or whatever, right? And people liked it. It's what the market bears, so that's what we do. But what happened is it was eating up like 70% of their system. So they had this huge backup. It was congestion, right? So the sidechain idea is that instead of me just using everything on the back of this, I can start my sidechain out the side, and now I have another blockchain company. I can have my own token on this one. Some of them that we're going to talk about in a second are right back there. So anything goes wrong, does it hurt the blockchain or any of the sidechains? No. Something goes bad on this one, it doesn't hurt everybody else. Everybody just keeps on rocking. Okay? Now, of course, we know that if there's a problem on a blockchain, the wonderful thing about blockchain, because it's immutable, we have a problem, we can actually go back and go like, okay, we got a snapshot back here where it was not bad. We get rid of this stuff, and it just takes time, which we don't like taking time, but it does, and we can go back and we can fix what's going on and continue on the blockchain from there. Okay? So the security in Lisk works it starts with Lisk core. So Lisk core is really the backbone of the whole thing. It's all of its main code. And we'll talk about it a little bit more. The second thing is they use what's called a consensus algorithm. So all of them use a consensus algorithm. What that means is whenever, what we were talking about before, if I pass out to all of you guys my ledger, and every time something changes in the ledger, it changes for all of our ledgers. If something goes wrong, every one of us always have to be in agreement that, yep, that's the same thing my ledger says. So everybody in this room could be a blockchain. And all of you saying, when I try to cheat and I go like, no, I didn't have $500, I had $5,000. All you guys are like, mine doesn't say you had $5,000, right? And that's basically the big security of it. So using the consensus algorithm. So Lisk also uses what's called delegated proof of stake. So the Lisk community votes for 101 people whose job is to make sure that everything's secure and everything is working. Those people are paid to do that. They're rewarded for the work they do it. And so it's just some things about Lisk. So Lisk has a few things. First of all, they have Lisk core. So Lisk core is what we already talked about. So this is just the main network of blockchain data. It's the infrastructure that everything works on. So Lisk elements. So this is a library of JavaScript that when a person wants to develop their own sidechain out of Lisk, they can actually go into this library and it'll help them build that stuff faster. It's a go-to place. I don't want to say cut and paste, but it's not far from that. So Lisk Commander is the inline interface for Lisk core's APIs. In the future, it'll support bootstrapping and to help you manage your sidechain. And Lisk Hub is the wallet. Okay, anybody who has crypto, you know you have to deal with wallets. Lisk Hub has a wallet, and eventually, what will happen is as the sidechains come out of Lisk, then the wallet will also be the place where you can go from one sidechain to the other. It'll be kind of the exchange that falls within Lisk. So you'll be able to buy coins using your Lisk. That's the big idea. So what are some of these companies that are using this? So there's no working sidechain right now. But there's some really wonderful projects that have come up because of this whole technology with Lisk. And one of them is BrickBit. This was the first sidechain that I got involved with. So BrickBit is it's called BrickBit Digital Shares, and what it does is it wants to tokenize the entire process in real estate. Every part of it. So from somebody has a piece of land and I want to buy it, I put it on the blockchain. Every single contractor involved is on the blockchain. It's all tokenized. So what's happening is, say I'm a plumber, I can go on to this and I can say, I'll accept your tokens. Instead of just taking cash, I'll take your tokens. If I want to, I don't have to spend those tokens. I can wait until the entire project is filled and its value now ups the value of my tokens. So I'm not going to get my cost plus 10%. Now I get my cost plus 10% plus the value of the overall property on top of that. You can do this for amazing, there's so many amazing things. Think about this. A community could see an old abandoned or torn up place and they can get together and create one of these, what they call a RETA, which is a real estate digital asset. They can create a digital asset out of it, and they can all together pool together to build something that will not only improve their community's value, but they all have financial stake in that, and they can make money off of it. So another one, you'll see all these over here. The next one that we love, because this is just geeky, is as geeky as it gets. Okay, so Genie is machine learning on the blockchain. It's already a patented technology. In the Lisk system, they call it Lisk machine learning. It already was running for a while. They've pulled it back, and they're trying to fix some things. But whenever this is up, anybody having a side chain can also chime in and have Genie running on that. So what does it do? What it does is it reads data, just like, if you're on Facebook, they're constantly tracking everything you do, and they're trying to target you for for marketing or for whatever, right? You're a target because they know everything about you, and they can even think about like, what do I say to them to get them to buy this, right? And the computers are figuring you out. So Genie does that, and now what it'll be able to do is anybody who starts their own sidechain business on Lisk, they'll be able to get Genie to start working for them with their customers. And Madonna. So love Madonna. I'm actually an ambassador for Madonna. Madonna is market for data analysis. So the idea here is similar to Genie, but what it does is it farms data from people who surrender that data. Instead of you signing up for your free app that's is free only because they're selling you and your data. When you sign in with Madonna, what's happening is you say, I'll let you use my data. And then they sell your data to, say, I don't know, Mercedes, let's say. And Mercedes uses that for whatever their research is, and they pay you for using your data. So the place that they're at right now, these guys are really far along. They're actually at the business level where they're actually linking up with some major car companies in Germany. They're shopping malls, stuff like that. The big thing that sets these guys apart is from the very beginning, they worked with the government on what are the laws of data privacy. So it's completely based on those laws. And they're the first ones to do that. So their goal is to be the first launched sidechain, which I last heard that they're hoping will happen very soon, this year. So that's everything about Lisk. And are there any questions? Can I explain it more simply? Can I make it even simpler? Yes. I can make it simpler, right? Okay. Imagine this. We all have a spreadsheet. Everybody has an Excel. Everybody at least can go there with me. We all have an Excel spreadsheet, and we share it. Right? You can do that, right? We can do that on Google spreadsheets, right? When you type something in, everybody sees what you typed in. That's how the blockchain works. The video isn't over yet. I just wanted to take an opportunity again to invite your comments. The feedback you give helps me to improve the quality of my speeches. And please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that you can keep track of all our activities, including a K-pop concert and a film that's in the works. Now keep watching for a quick summary in Korean and an on-the-spot interview with one of the Blockvibe founders.
111 그런 번호라고 보시면 되는 거예요. 그래서 그러면은 예를 들어서 이제 오늘 이렇게 저희 게스트가 어젯밤에 와이프랑 이제 대화를 나누면서 블록체인에 대해서 설명을 하다가 갑자기 자기가 준비한 거를 다 이렇게 디바그만한 아주 심플한 방식으로 이렇게 이제 대화가 돼서 오늘 그 형식으로 이렇게 설명해 주셨는데요. 우리가 다 이제 일을 하면 페이를 받죠. 페이를 받는데 사실 현금으로 안 받아요. 그냥 책으로 받던가 아니면 디렉트 파스를 해서 은행으로 바로 들어가죠. 그래서 사실은 우리가 이런 캐시를 가지고 있기도 하지만 전반적으로 요즘에는 캐시가 다 그냥 어떤 중앙화된 은행 안에 돈을 넣어놓고 거기서 뭐 갑돌이가 갑순이한테 첨부를 보내면은 그런 게 이제 이 중앙화된 은행 그쪽에서 이제 갑순이한테 이게 첨부를 보내는 그런 정보를 혼자서만 이렇게 가지고 있는 방식이라면 이 블록체인은 탈중앙화된 거라는 거예요. 그래서 그러면은 블록체인이 예를 들어서 뭐냐 하면은 만약에 이제 어떤 사람이 은행을 그래서 털고 싶으면 가서 이렇게 복면 쓰고 터는 게 아니라 은행에 있는 컴퓨터, 슈퍼컴퓨터라고 볼 수 있죠. 그걸 털어서 거기 정보를 빼내서 뭐 소셜 시큐리티라든가 해가지고 이런 정보를 털면 되거든요. 그런데 이 탈중앙화된 것은 그런 걸 이렇게 막게 되는 거예요. 그다음에 그래서 가상화폐가 뭐냐? 그러면은 뭐 도토리 같은 거다. 도토리 옛날에 우리 그 뭐죠? 페이스북 같이 했던 거 한국에서 그거 뭐죠? 막 도토리 사갖고 뭐 내 거 막 방 꾸미고 하는 것도 있었고, 아니 아이러브스쿨 말고 있잖아. 그 다른 거 있어요. 싸이월드. 한국 분들은 싸이월드 다 아시죠? 그러면은 내가 100불 내갖고 도토리 사갖고 막 음악도 넣고 막 하잖아요. 그런 식으로 싸이월드 안에서 쓰는 화폐 그거를 도토리라고 하면은 뭐 여러 군데가 쿠폰 주죠. 그럼 쿠폰을 가지고 모으면은 치킨집도 뭐 처갓집 양념통닭 가면은 10개 도장 찍으면 쿠폰 받으면은 그때 이제 그게 밸류가 되잖아요. 똑같은 방식으로 하는 것이 블록체인이라고 하시면 되겠습니다. 그래서 아까 보여준 어떤 게임에서 무슨 크레딧을 사갖고 거기서 놀다가 이제 이 게임이 질려서 다른 게임을 하고 싶으면은 그 크레딧을 가지고 그 다른 게임에 가서 자기 거 주고 이제 환전을 하는 거죠. 그러면 이제 각자 게임이나 각자 회사에 맞춰서 밸류가 다 다르니까 거기에 맞춰서 이제 이 값을 주는 거죠. 내가 만약에 도토리가 만약에 50개가 있었는데 여기 다른 데 가서 무슨 다른 토큰이나 쿠폰을 쓰면은 그게 한 뭐 30개로 바뀐다든가 그런 식으로 그 각 비즈니스마다 회사마다 이렇게 밸류가 다른 것입니다. 그리고 얼마나 대단한 거야? 이렇게 아까 물어봤죠. 개인적으로 저도 아주 대단하다고 생각합니다. 뭐 IBM, 마이크로소프트, 그 다음에 뭐 두바이 같은 경우도 이 블록체인 기술을 반영을 해서 계속 지금 뭐 테크놀로지라든가 자기네 어떤 비즈니스를 넓혀나가고 있고요. 각 나라, 각 정부마다 지금은 조금 뭐 경제가 안 좋으니 해서 좀 조용조용하지만 전반적으로 지금 블록체인 테크놀로지, 블록체인 기술로 바탕으로 많은 프로젝트와 많은 회사들을 만들고 있는 겁니다. 그러면서 리스크라고 해서 이렇게 뭐 이더리움 같은 컴페티션인데 뭐 그런 부분에 대해서 제가 디테일하게 오늘 전달할 거예요. 이미 다 얘기하셨기 때문에. 그래서 뭐 이더리움이나 또 이더리움을 리스크를 통해서 아까 말씀드린 뭐 지니, AI 같은 거 있잖아요. 4차 혁명을 이제 바탕으로 해서 할 수 있는 기술들이나 비즈니스를 이런 블록체인 기술로 그래서 간단하게 블록체인 기술이 무엇이냐 탈중앙화된 것입니다. 그래서 은행이 가장 설명하기 좋은데요. 은행은 모든 정보, 여러분들의 모든 정보를 혼자서만 갖고 있다면 이 블록체인 기술은요, 그 모든 정보를 개개인이 다 갖고 있는 거예요. 그러면서 훨씬 더 신속하고 보안이 되고 그 다음에 수수료라든가 피 같은 것도 훨씬 더 싸게 할 수 있습니다. 그 정도로 하면은 블록체인 기술에 대해서 좀 이렇게 대충 아이디어가 있으실 테고요. 저희가 이걸 하는 이유는 이제 앞으로 계속 우리가 커뮤니티 우리 뭐 무료를 하는 거고 아까 이제 나중에 우리 크리스께서 오셔갖고 설명 더 주시겠지만 앞으로 계속 우리가 이런 저도 스피커이기 때문에 많은 자료가 있고 하거든요. 그래서 블록체인이라든가 아까 말한 뭐 리스크 사이드체인 또 뭐 앞으로에 대한 뭐 미래 전망 또 거기에 대한 코인들 여러 가지 코인들이 많죠. 그리고 비트코인 여기 비트코인 갖고 계신 분 혹시 한번 사신 분? 한번 사신 분 손 들어주세요. 그래서 비트코인을 살 수 있을까 살까 뭐 그런 것도 알 수가 있고요. 이런 테크놀로지에 대해서 관심을 가져주시면요. 우리가 되게 초반에 있는 상황이에요. 아까 말씀하셨지만 인터넷 그 당시 인터넷 왔을 때 인터넷이 뭐야? 내가 인터넷이 왜 필요해? 이상한 거 아니야? 그런데 지금은 인터넷이 없이 우리 못 살죠. 우리 인터넷 꺼지면 진짜 할 거 없거든요. 뭐 다운로드 못 받고 아무것도 못하는 것처럼 그런 식으로 생각하시면 돼요. 그래서 블록체인은 앞으로 어마어마한 변화를 가져올 것이고 우리 소사이티나 뭐 은행, 뭐 정보 모든 것에 대해서 블록체인이 아마 이제 점령을 하게 될 날이 올 겁니다. 그때까지 여러분께서 항상 관심 가져주시고 또 우리 저희 커뮤니티에 같이 참여하셔가지고요 많은 거 배우시고 그렇게 하시면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
I'm here with Chris from Blockvibe, and Chris, just talk to us a little bit about what's going on with Blockvibe and what's coming up in the future.
Blockvibe, we're actually like an avenue where people could come and learn about blockchain for anyone. And what we're doing is we like to innovate and get the word out about blockchain. And our future plan is to make this a mainstream adoption. We're going to work with a lot of events like concerts, K-pop concerts, or even American concerts, and we're going to collaborate with them. So and to work alongside, and then to get the word out about blockchain and Lisk and a few other projects.
Blockvibe is on Twitter, right? At Blockvibe, and of course we're at Bloqspace. So check us out. Thanks for watching again. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow at Blockvibe and at Bloqspace on Twitter for updates and support us as we shamelessly promote blockchain technology. Bye.
It's one small step for man, 1 giant leap for mankind.